At the time. 40%, you know, a lot of people are born a little more feminine than other people. That's just a matter of genes and chromosomes. I mean, a lot of people physically are stronger, you know.
His hair thin like a woman's, his body slim, hips slightly girlish. It was easy to see his decision.
So I think, yeah, he might be more feminine than your average person, but in no way does that imply that he should have been born female. If you're born female, you're born female. If you're born male, you're born male. So that's about where I'd leave that one.
I've worked in the field for 25 years. So I've seen many, many, many people who identify as transgendered. And I would say that based on what I see is that some folks report a very stable, lifelong cross-gender identity that to them feels like it's nature-based, that they were born that way.
As far as self-awareness goes, like other transsexuals, for me, it started right in around the age 3.5, when we started getting that first openings of self-awareness. Everything I did, I identified female, and by the time, I mean, dolls appealed to me, playing house and things like that. The girls did cut out paper dolls and sewing.
He enjoyed doing the woman's work around the house. Alan was becoming a woman and didn't realize it. A woman in mind only, but the mind rules.
Always into mommy's clothes and mommy's makeup and mommy's high heels. And by the time I was 5 years old, well, you know, in the 1950s in New York, it was cute until I started getting old enough that other people were seeing me. Then I became a public embarrassment to my parents.
She can wear a dress, but down below, she's a guy.
Some of the differences you've noticed, because you've worked with me as Bob,
You bet.
and you worked with me as Valerie, and some of the differences you've seen and what it's like working side by side, two different expressions of persona, as it were.
Well, it's getting a lot easier now.
Bit of a shock at first.
I missed Bob. I missed Bob at first. That's
Did
what I
you?
missed. Yeah, because, you know, it was Bob. But now I'm realizing it's still Bob, but it's Valerie.
A lady is a lady, whatever the case may be.
I'm getting used to Valerie.
I've always liked Bob as a person as long as I've worked with him. And, you know, try to talk to him and try to communicate with him. And then, lo and behold, one day we run into each other at the Gay Pride Parade. And I think he was just totally shocked. And that was the first time that I actually saw him, you know, dressed as a woman. And I think what had ended up happening is we were both surprised. He was surprised to see me there looking at me, you know, as kind of a conservative looking person, and I was there with my boyfriend who just happens to be bisexual, and then all of a sudden running into him, and I think that really kind of made our relationship a little bit solid, or a little bit, you know, made it a little more grounded. But it was a surprise. It was kind of a shock to see him dressed that way. And then that was the first time that we really opened up the conversation that he was going to go through this transition. No, actually, he took a picture of the two of us and gave me a copy of the picture and said that there was no problem with me showing it to other people. The only thing I didn't like about the picture is I looked like hell and he looked so great.
And I walked out onto this little runway from the stage to do my thing as the part of the debutante walk, which is saying, here I am, I have arrived, and I'm not ashamed to show it, and I didn't know, but they took that camera and they just said zoom, and on television I was showcased. I mean, that's all there was on the screen for about 5 seconds, was just me in red heels in that red dress, and there was no question who it was.
And someone from the factory saw that.
Oh, there was about 5 or 6 people from definitely that saw it, and maybe about 10 or 15 others that hadn't said anything. And from there was the case. When I come in the next morning, it was like, well, it was showtime. I couldn't not come in. I couldn't call in sick. I was like, I had to face the music.
And you knew that morning that most of these people had seen it.
Yes.
What was that like driving down the
Well,
road
I'll
to
tell
work?
You what,
Was it nervous or were you happy?
Maybe it's kind of like what an inmate feels going on his way to the executioner. I mean, for me, my stomach was in my throat. My mouth was dry. I was unsure what I was walking into, what kind of a reception I would get. I walked in the back door that we went through earlier to the shop, and there was like 5 or 6 guys, and they were in a circle like this around me. And they said, "Hey Bob, what's this? What's going on? Did you see this? What? Hey, that was you up there, wasn't it? Fess up, dude!" And I put my hands on my hips, and I said, "Yes, that was me." And then one of the other guys says, "Man, what the fuck you doing?" And I said, "I'm living my life. That's what I'm doing." And then the next thing he did totally blew me away. He just said, high-fived me. And I high-fived him back, and from there it's been one step after the other. And a lot of it has been just getting everybody here used to a growing femininity in me.
You know, it's interesting. Some blue-collar people who you would expect to have difficulty have less difficulty because they're loyal. They tend to be very loyal people, and they'll say something like, "Well, I don't understand it, I'll never understand it, but you're my friend, and I've known you for years, and if this is what you want to do, I'm going to support you."
I could care less what her gender is, as long as she does her job or he does his job. It really doesn't matter to me. I told him that at work I may end up calling him Bob just out of habit, but it's not meant, you know, to be a personal attack or whatever, you know, because she tends to take it personally if you call her Bob.
Yeah.
So, you know, and she seems to understand that, and that's okay, you know. So I can go Val. I'm not quite to Valerie yet. Val's okay. That's like kind of an intermediate thing, you know, but whatever.
Hey, none of my business what he does. I just think it's too bad for the poor guy because, I mean, I think he's going to be sorry later.
We only have one life to live. If we throw that one away, what is there left?
Men who have chosen to become women and vice versa. It's one of the least acceptable lifestyles in our society.
In my younger days, I used to have a lot of problems dealing with life, and I used to hide and walk around with the crutches of alcohol and drugs. And now I'm having so much fun, I don't need drugs. Alcohol, every now and then I can have something kind of weak, a lady's kind of drink like Kahlua and milk or Galliano and 7. Once in a while, it's like not more than once every 3 or 4 months or so. Otherwise, you know, I don't have a desire to go out and get drunk because I'm at peace with myself. I'm happy. Life is an adventure.
You're referring to the transvestite? Transvestite? If that's the word you men of medical science use for a man who wears woman's clothing, yes. The term transvestite is the name given by medical science to those persons who wear the clothing of the opposite sex. Many a transvestite actually wishes to be the opposite sex.
Cross-dressing, transvestite, transgender, transsexual.
Yes, in cold, technical language, that's the word. As unfriendly and as vicious as it may sound. However, in actuality, it's not an unfriendly word, nor is it vicious when you know the people to whom it pertains.
Down inside your shirt. Do you hear me? Dirty.
I woke up this morning with a bad hangover, and my penis was missing again.
I am a boy, I am a girl, I'm a man, I'm a woman. We have a brother, we have a sister, we have a son, we have a daughter, we have a mother, we have a father, we have a spouse. Some transsexuals are lesbian, some transsexuals are heterosexual, and some are bi.
Get drunk, and the next morning I can't, for the life of me, remember what I did with it. First I looked around.
Experts in the field, along with transgender people, have put together a set of standards